Hello, my name is Jon Baker and I want to talk about the extrovert bias. My belief is that the Western business model is biased in favour of extroverts, and I want to give 4 short reasons as to why. They're compiled, of course, of a lot of the other biases that I've been speaking of recently. So the first one I want to mention is success. Many business leaders are extroverted, and of course they talk a lot more and perhaps a little more loudly than many of the introverted business leaders. And so the model becomes increasingly more extrovert led. The next one I want to talk about is being slower paced, where slow in itself, calling somebody slow, well, that's actually a negative thing generally, isn't it? Now introverts, because of internal processing, will tend to stop, think and then speak, whereas an extrovert might speak very quickly and speak out as a way of doing their thinking. And very often, in meetings particularly, it's assumed that the person that speaks more slowly is slow, or the person that leaves a gap before they answer is less interested, or the person that doesn't speak as much is less interested, whereas the person who speaks a lot in the meeting is interested. And what are we actually saying there? Well, when we really think about it, surely the answer is, what are they speaking about, not how much they speak. And yet it's an example of an extrovert bias. So again, what voices tend to get heard most in discussions, in meetings? And they tend to be the extroverts, of course. And this can easily lead to a view that it's better to say something in a meeting, even if you're not adding to the discussion. It's the right way of doing things. Again, it's building up the extrovert bias. In team events and assessment panels, extroverts often get marked as leadership potential, as they tend to dominate group discussion. The extrovert bias, of course, shows they're hungry for success, whereas the introvert might not dominate the discussion in the same way, and is therefore less hungry, none of which are true. Like all the other unconscious biases, they're things that we've collected mentally over the years that may have been true, but probably weren't. But over the years, we've just unconsciously cluttered our mind with these thoughts, and therefore, unless we're aware of this unconscious bias, we tend to go with it. So I'm just challenging you to be aware of your biases, especially the extrovert bias.